Wonderful. Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Chuck Hansen. I'm going to be your co-host along with Michael Stern and Eric Z as we go through some information that everybody is asking us about. And one of those topics that Eric is going to talk about is helium track. I get questions about it all the time. And so Eric's going to do a quick run through and update. And then Michael's going to go through the compensation plan as it is, as we are transitioning, right? And we'll explain that as we go through. So with that, Eric, take it away anytime you're ready, buddy.
Sounds good. I hope everyone's having a great week. We're making a lot of progress here, guys. We have over 6,000 planned hotspots in the app, and that's in just a couple days. That does not include, and I apologize if there's an echo, that does not include all of the reserved hotspots from the prior system, which basically I want to there's been a lot of questions, what happens with all of the reserved hotspots that we have already submitted. So luckily enough, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be importing all of those reserved addresses and installation addresses as planned hotspots automatically into your account in Helium Track. So those will show up all on your map as planned hotspots. And so And so I just want to clarify that, along with being a very strong analytical tool, right, and an intelligence tool, the goal for us is to help you guys build your network. And so with what we've been discussing, we are launching the mining assessments, and we actually went over it today, and we went through everything that still needs to be finalized, and we're on track. We're actually a day early, which will give us a final date to test everything for you guys. As you know, we've rushed to get this app out to you guys. There was, a lot of questions and maybe a couple bugs here and there, which we resolved quickly. But we want to make sure that this is perfect for you guys, because when we launch the mining assessments, I want to just clarify again for anyone who has questions about that. That is a tool for you to, after you plan all of your hotspots, and when I say your hotspots, that really means all of the planned hotspots are going to be all of the people that you know, all of the relationships that you have, all of your friends, your family, your acquaintances, your people you know in your town, or even outside your town. That's what the planned hotspots are for. And so once we launch those mining assessments, those virtual mining assessments, that is what gives you the ability to say, okay, here's a planned hotspot that I planned for my cousin Joe. Now I'm going to be able to go ahead and click send him a mining assessment. And that's going to send him an SMS message or an email or even print out a PDF that's going to allow him to see the potential of his location, sign up as an iHub member under your account, as well as reserve his free hotspot. That's the goal here, right? And so to give you a tool that's going to be sending out these mining assessments is very, very powerful. I want to go over and just get you guys familiarized on the way that this works, okay? And I'm going to share my screen and show you some updates that are going to help you guys get started when we launch this feature. It's going to give you a little bit of a head start. So we put some things in place, but I'd like to just go over just how this generally works, okay? So you plan a hotspot, you send someone a mining assessment, and for a 24-hour period, that location is reserved literally for that person. And nobody else can plan a hotspot there or send a mining assessment if they've already planned it there. It locks that position for a 24-hour period, which gives the opportunity for the relationship or the prospect to take action, right? So within that 24-hour period, it is your job to either educate, follow up, and help them execute, because once they go ahead and they see that mining assessment that you sent them, and they understand, okay, well, let me get started, and they sign up under you, when they actually follow through the couple steps of the mining assessment report, that is what, and they reserve their hotspot, that's the final step, that's what locks that position. That's it. And not only is it just that address, the goal for us here as a community is to grow this network, build this network efficiently. So there's a couple things that get put in place when there's a reserved hotspot, whether it's pending for a 24-hour period or whether it gets reserved entirely. And so not only does that address get locked, okay, for that 24-hour period and then permanently locked if they reserve their hotspot, but also some vicinity around it, right? Using our intelligence, we use the Helium, I'm going to call them proposals, which basically are their guidance, right? We use their information that says, this is how far there should be no other hotspots within this hexagon or within this vicinity, so that pretty much, we're giving you the tools to reserve that spot and not have anyone else come in and interfere with that spot. But, and this is kind of what we're bringing to you guys. So I want to show you how you can get a head start on this. And so I do also want to clarify that a free account on Helium Track is only going to be able to send up to 5 mining assessments. A pro account will be able to send unlimited mining assessments. There might be a limit per day or in a pending period, and let me explain that. Meaning, let's say we're finalizing these numbers. Let's say we limit it to 50 mining assessments at a time, right? Because the goal here is to not just tie up a bunch of real estate, right? We want you guys to take action, take the proper action, and work with those potential leads, or I'm going to call them leads, to execute. So there might be a rolling period where it's going to say you've sent out 50 mining assessments. Before you can send out more, either some need to expire, which is only a 24-hour window, or as soon as someone takes action and executes, meaning they sign up and they reserve their hotspot, that frees up a new spot. So you can have a rolling scale at any given time where you have 25 or 50 mining assessments floating out there. So, but your job is to go and make sure that they understand and follow through. So I'm going to share my screen here with you guys real quick. And just let me know if you guys can see my screen here. Can you guys all see my screen? Thumbs up? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sounds good. Let's get rid of us here so we don't have to look at it ourselves. So here's what we put in place for you guys to get a head start. All right. So before, when you planned a hotspot, all you had to do was enter the location and a label. So it said location name. We've renamed this to marker label. So the location is, let's go through a simple scenario so everyone understands. My cousin Joe lives at a certain location, and I know that I would love to get him involved in ihub, get him his free miner, get him signed up under me, etc. So I'm going to put in cousin Joe's address, right? And this is going to show me the address that's selected. So this gives a little more clarity. Then an apartment or suite will appear after you've chosen an address. So if he happens to live in an apartment, that would be the next step. So let's say he's number 36. Now the marker label is what the little dot on the map, those plan dots, are going to be called. So I can just say cousin Joe, right? But that's not his name. So I want to put in his real name. I don't have a cousin Joe, but let's just call him Joe Palmer. All right. I'm going to put in his real name, and I'm going to put in his email and his phone. Now, these last 4 fields are optional. You don't have to fill them out, but we highly encourage you, because in order to send cousin Joe a free mining assessment and get him signed up, you will need to put in his name and his email, and that's what's going to send him the mining assessment, right? We need his actual information. So if you enter this information while you plan your hotspot, you don't have to do it later. So in the next week, and I'll show you how to add this if you've already planned hotspots before we've added these fields, I'll show you how to do that. But if you're planning hotspots now, this is a required step later before you're going to send it. So I'm going to put in Joe's email, joe@joe.com, and I'll put in his phone number. We will have validation on this, okay? And I'm going to agree, and I'm going to plan my hotspot, okay? All right, and I'm going to close that. And so just so you know, that cousin Joe is the label, right? So that's how we can identify that marker. You can use their real name as well. There's no reason, but we give it a custom ability. For example, let's say Cousin Joe has a home and a business, right? So we want to do Cousin Joe's store, barber shop, and Cousin Joe's home. And that's going to give us a custom label to assign there. And that's very, very helpful. We're going to go ahead and save that as well. And so there's Cousin Joe. Now, again, we're working on mining assessments, which is that report that we're sending out that's going to notify Cousin Joe. Here's the potential of your home or business, whatever the location was, and here's how to get started. But I'd like for everyone to understand that if they've already planned a ton of hotspots, no big deal. Here's how you can go and add all that information. So you're going to go to hotspots and you're going to go to your planned hotspots. These are the ones that you've done. So going forward, I encourage everyone to plan their hotspots with the information of the person that you plan on bringing into ihub and then requesting their free miner. They're going to get that assessment report. So looking at it here, here's my friend Steele's house. Okay, that's not his real name, but that's his nickname. And I'm going to go on, and I'm sorry, let me back up a second. I'm going to click on manage here, right? You'll see there's no first name, last name, or contact information. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit that. And I'm going to go ahead and populate his information here now, and I'm going to save that. And so what that's going to allow me to do is, you know, over the next week or so, I can go through my planned hotspots, make sure everyone's information is there properly. And when we launch the mining assessments, there will be another column here that's going to say send mining assessment. And if everything is filled out properly, it's going to send it off to them. Okay. You will be able to choose how you want them to be able to receive it. Like you'll check SMS or text or print a PDF. But if the information is not filled in here and you want to send them assessment, you will be required to do so on the spot. So Chuck and Michael, do you guys have any questions about this? Does anyone have any particular questions about this specifically and planning hotspots and stuff like that?
You know, Eric, I haven't. I've been looking at the chat.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that that's come up is that the 5 free credits that everybody has.
Yes.
If they only run the intelligence, then that disappears, right? They've used one of their credits.
No, so the intelligence is actually separate. So they actually get 5 free intelligence credits, which let's look at what that looks like. So if I plan a hotspot and I want to open up that intelligence on the hotspot, that is 1 credit on the intelligence.
Okay.
But they actually get an additional 5 free mining assessments. So they're actually separate. But yes, that's to answer that. Absolutely, they're separate. You'll be able to send 5 of those.
I didn't know that either, but that's great to know. So
yes.
Do they see that anywhere, Eric? That they've got 5 and 5?
Yes. So actually, if you, I can show you a free version, and let's take a look at that. And I see someone else's question. There are unlimited amount of planned hotspots for free, so you can actually plan free as many hotspots as you'd like with a free version. But there's limitations on the intelligence that can be run, as well as the mining assessments. And so, because we don't have mining assessments ready yet, you won't be able to see that limit, but I will show you the intelligence. And so here is a free account that I just logged in with. Okay. And you'll notice, let me go ahead and click OK, and I'll exit out of that. You'll notice that there's, you know, less options here, and there's a big upgrade to Pro. But if I ran an intelligence on here, and you will actually see, so before it runs it, if you have a free account, before it runs it and uses up a credit, it's going to ask you, number one, it's going to show you have 2 out of 5 left, and it's going to double check to make sure you actually want to use that credit before you run it. Because obviously, if we just ran it without a new user understanding that, hey, I'm going to use a credit right now if I click on this. So we give them the opportunity to see, okay, run intelligence, uses credits, use 1 credit. I can run the intelligence, and we'll see that now it's at 3 out of 5 credits. So I just used my 3rd credit. And once you reach 5 credits, you will be required to upgrade. This indication will also be very visible when we have the mining assessment section done. Okay. This section here will probably show 5 cent assessments, and it will say 5 out of 5. For a pro user, there probably will not be any limits or anything like that. So we will absolutely indicate it in the designated area, but we've done our best to try to be transparent, give people the opportunity. Let me just go ahead and click that and make it go away for now. Yes, and give people the opportunity to actually use that credit. And we will do the same for the mining assessment. So as an example, going back to this account that we do have planned hotspots. So let's say I have a ton of planned hotspots and I have a free account. We probably, when you decide that you want to send a mining assessment, and just again to reiterate, when the mining assessments launch, that is launching on the 31st. We are on track to do that, and we have a full day to test it before we release it to you guys. We will be adding another column here that literally there will be a button that says send mining assessment. Upon clicking that, it will verify that all the information that is required, like the first name, last name, and contact information, is all properly populated. And if it is, it will ask you, do you want to use 1 out of 5 credits? And how would you like to notify the user or send this user the mining assessment via SMS, email, or text, or I'm sorry, PDF, and then you will use that credit. And so that will be very clear to the user as well.
So choose wisely, while you're using your free credits up and getting to understand and how to work the system. What kind of score? I mean, I guess the other question that I get all the time is, when you go back into the scoring, and I know
Right.
I don't know if people have seen that yet, Eric.
So, you're talking about the intelligence, or?
Yeah, the scoring where it's got the little thing going over, that whole thing.
This intelligence or the mining report?
Mining report.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another thing that we're finalizing this week. And so for us to launch the mining assessment reports, we really are vigorously testing it. So this intelligence is all nice, and it gives you a nice individualized score of different factors. But when we so just to back up, the mining assessment reports, and let's see if they're still accessible. We lock things down a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so looking at this, and this is what the mining assessment report generally will look like. Some things may change a little bit, but overall, to generate this final number is actually much more difficult for us than to give you these individualized ratings. And so what we're working on, and so we're having various sources actually look at our logic, look at our algorithm, because we take these different scores and we weight them. And there's even more that goes into generating this score. It will be fully transparent as far as people, if a score is output and someone wants to understand why it is that, there will be a way to understand that. Now, this is something that we are still working on and finalizing. So this is an arbitrary number on this report. This is just an example report. I'd like to make that clear.
Right.
But that final score is going to be a makeup of the intelligence as well as other weighted factors. Okay. It can also depend on the growth of hotspots in that area. There's probably 20 to 30 new factors that we're introducing. And you can imagine the amount of testing that we want to do before we release it. We want it to be absolutely fair and absolutely accurate. So there's no question whether or not a score is legitimized, and it absolutely will be. So.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of intelligence and a lot of work and a lot of factors and all of those things. And guys, for us to be able to click a button and get that much intelligence, and nothing's perfect. Let me just say that, it's going to be the best that anybody has ever put together, and will give us certainly the almost exact information. But we can't ever control what might come into that market a week from now or in the process of. So, I mean, everything can change. It's always changing, and I've
Right.
experienced that already. with some hotspots that I put out even before we had this intelligence, right? If I would have had this intelligence, I would have probably never put those there. Actually, they went in this, I thought, well, I'll drop some into some of my friends in San Francisco. Well, little did I know that, that's a crowded spot, right? And so, I got with the two people and I said, hey, they either have to send those puppies back to me or we've got to move them. Oh no, let's not, I don't want to send them back. Let's move them. I'll find another spot for them. And so we found another spot for them and all of that worked out. So, I mean, it's just, it all comes with the territory. So, Eric, I don't see, I mean, there's a lot of questions, but we'll field them out and get through them as we get through the evening here. If there's anything that I can't respond to, then I'll put it in an email to you or all of them and send them to you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. Listen, we're on track to do this. The main thing I just want to leave off is that, if you're planning hotspots and you're, the first couple, you're not getting good scores, or you send a couple mining assessments and you're not getting the scores. The bottom line is that the tool makes it easy for you to really just pump the planned hotspots in there and grow your team by getting people educated and sending them their mining assessment report. So don't get discouraged if you give it a shot and you get a couple low scores. There's always room for better scores. There's always areas that need proof of coverage. So using the map and using the tools and everything that we provide, we should be able to find some of those locations. And you got to get creative. I think that, if you don't have access to any good locations, there's definitely creative ways to pitch people and to, educate people. And so I wouldn't discourage anyone from not doing that.
The minimum score, what do you think the minimum score is going to be in order to deploy?
I guess that depends on demand. I don't know if we have that number yet. Definitely is going to be a detailed team discussion. I don't think that we can honestly say at the moment, but we definitely will make sure that people are aware of it, right? We want people to be able to be successful. So I think that once we have that figure, people will know what score they need to achieve.
Right. Well, we can tell you that if it's a 9.5, you got pretty good odds, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So, hey, buddy, we appreciate your time and enjoy your time off at home before they chain you back down to the desk for another 18 hours tomorrow. So
sounds good. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Oh, good. Thanks, Eric. Thanks a lot.
You got it.
Okay. Hey guys, well, the next person that is up to bat is Michael Stern, and Michael's out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Michael and I have known each other for 30 plus years, and just a tremendous guy. It has a great way of explaining very hard to understand, very hard to understand topics very simply, which does me a lot of good since I'm a very simple person. So he's going to take you through the compensation plan as it is, as it's transitioning. And we'll kind of explain some of those transitions as we go through. So Michael, take it away anytime you're ready, buddy.
All right. Give me a second here.
Yep. I can see everything.
All
And guys,
righty.
if you want the Zoom to fit in your window, just go to Zoom options up at the top of the screen where it says you're viewing Michael Stern's screen, and click on View Options, and then click on Fit to Window, and then lo and behold, it fits right there in that window. So go ahead, Michael.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the call. We're really excited about this tweak that we've done with our compensation structure. A lot of people have been waiting for some of the specifics. We kind of gave a sneak preview of it last Tuesday. We're going to kind of go over it a little bit more today. But this is the ihub affiliate program. And so basically the dynamic here is that we are introducing what we call our free deployed host program that we've been talking about for several weeks. It's been kind of an evolution, and a whole reason we're able to deploy this is directly related to the Helium track software by giving us the intelligence to be able to make the determinations of the locations. So as you start sharing this with individuals, you're going to be getting, first off, starting off with a 10% referral commission, people that you reach out to and say, hey, you got to check this out, and let's get your address, check that out. And they would be getting a free deployment unit based on their scoring that they get on that. But you start off with that 10% referral commission in the first 90 days that host has that unit. The host is starting off at 15%, a 10% increase over the existing hosting program that we've been doing that first 90 days. And then it can go to 25%, and your referrer also bounces 10% to go to 20% based on running 5 virtual mining assessments. We'll cover that a little bit more. And then additionally, in the plan, we've got another 20% into our codes and our matching bonus. So if you just kind of look at these numbers here, you recognize that with 25% hosting commission, 25% referral, 20% referral commission, that's 45%, and the 20% in the coded bonuses and matching, that we are paying out to the field 65% of what's being generated here, which is a really high number, comparably speaking, for a lot of programs that are out there. I know, Chuck, we've not seen anything like it in the period of time we've been around. So let's just kind of talk a little bit about this free deployment program. Now, one of the things that we're going to touch on here is the idea of how the teams get built in ihub. And I'm going to kind of go into a little bit more in this particular presentation. I'm going to be covering it towards the end. But it happens when people become active, an active affiliate, which means that there is a ihub miner either with that individual or somebody on their team, because we have people in various places around the world that don't have the option of getting their units yet, and they can still fully participate in our ihub affiliate program. But that little light there, green, indicates an active affiliate. And so basically, specifically on the host commission, starts off 15% over 90 days. The affiliate is hosting it on their property, either their home or their place of business, their address. That's the address that we're going through in Helium track and determining the quality of that location, getting that out there. And there's a whole lot of training and development we're going to be doing on this portion of it, as Eric says, on helping people learn how they can increase the scoring that those locations have by several factors as we start adding that into the system. So during the first 90 days, we recommend doing 5 of those virtual mining assessments, and just the act of doing that takes them from 15 to 25%, but they're not having to figure that out on their own because their referrer is really driving them. The referrer is the one that, after all, said, hey, George or Sally, you've got a really great location, sending them an assessment to lock in that location. So the referrer is really out there doing the work in determining the locations of people, building the affiliate network. And so we're going to be reinforcing that activity by having them assist their hosts do those 5 virtual assessments. Now, just for clarification, it doesn't mean that they have to have 5 assessments that score high and people reserve the miners. What our goal here is for getting engagement going, so that the people that are our hosts in ihub are also cognizant of being an affiliate host, meaning that they've got the opportunity of doing precisely what they experienced with the person that shared ihub with them, should they choose to do so. but we're kind of getting them aware of the process by getting them involved in these 5 assessments. And the referrer is going to assist in the process. Why? Because it bumps up their referral on that unit that their host has by essentially doubling what they're going to be getting on that. And so what happens in our affiliate host program, which is different than what we've been doing previously with our hosted program, where the host didn't actually occupy a spot on the 4 teams that we talk about in ihub until they actually acquired the unit. In the case of our deployed host model, as soon as they've got their unit, as soon as that happens, and there's a unit assigned to them, they immediately become an active affiliate in your teams. And this is going to greatly accelerate the process of moving through those teams. And I'll explain that just a little bit. But again, all this ability is based on Helium Track, this incredible piece of software that we're so wild about. And Eric and the team have put together. And really, my opinion is we haven't really seen anything yet, unleashing this as this product gets even more and more intelligent and more effective of it integrating with our ihub model. So let's just talk about how this change, this extra 10% change, is really affecting what we look at on our teams. We talk about the 4 teams that we have in ihub. We're really building 4 discrete teams of individuals, very different than anything I've ever worked with in the past. Typically, you work with 1 team and there's various different hoops and qualifications and rank advancement and stuff like that. But we really have 4 individual teams in ihub, and those 4 individual teams actually are treated independently of each other relative to what the commission structure is on that. So this first team we call the pro team. It's your first 5 individuals. The next team is your bronze team with the next 10 individuals that you introduce. The silver team, the next 10. And then anything after that initial 25 people that you've introduced is your gold team, which is unlimited in the number of people that can be part of that team. And again, we'll touch on that a little bit, but here's the big deal. If you recall from our earlier model, which still is maintained on the owner units that are out there for the first kind of the portion of our rollout of ihub, people were buying their own units and they would get a portion of that. And we have a program that's specifically designed on that, and that does not change. So we're going to be, as moving forward, really running 2 compensation structures that are dependent on the units, whether or not it's a free deployed unit or whether or not it's a unit that kind of came about prior to the free deployment strategy, but they're fairly similar in the coded bonuses. The big difference is that on the deployed version, the ability of getting that extra 10% referral commission kicking in on that deployed host after they complete their first 90 days. That's a massive increase of income over time, as we'll talk about. But so in the earlier stages, we basically just talked about 10% here, 10% in this case, so that the bronze team, there's something called a 5% bronze code that you get in addition to that 10% refer that would allow you to get up to 15% on your bronze personals. Now it's going up to 25%. Before, it wasn't until you were building your gold team that you had the ability of getting 25% on your personals. So that is moving that up much more quickly in the process of building your ihub team. At the silver team, you're picking up a 10% code, essentially taking it to a 30% on your personals, and on the gold, a 15% code, taking it up to 35% on your personals. But let's go ahead and look at some specifics here. So we're going to use an example of essentially reaching out to 35 people. And we're going to use that example based on an average earning on a particular miner generating 100 Helium tokens in a monthly basis. We're using that because it's a nice round number. Okay, it's also pretty much what the averages are. Of course, averages are kind of like the medium. There's some that are very low. There's some that are a lot higher. But in any case, let's just talk about 100 tokens on a monthly basis. So the first 5 individuals that you bring into ihub that have a unit, become your pro team, your first team. We call it just team number one or the pro team. And you're going to be getting 20% of what those units are generating. So 20% of that 100 that's being generated, again, it's really 10% for the first 90 days and 20% thereafter. But let's just kind of look at it as 20%. On that second team now of your 10 people that comprise the beginning of your bronze team, then you're going to get that 20% plus that additional 5% bronze code. The silver team is going to be 2 additional 5% codes that's part of your silver team to bring it to 30%. And on gold, there's really 15% or 3 of those 5% codes. And we're going to use in this example, there's an unlimited number of people that you can have on your gold team, whereas there is a finite number of 5, 10, and 10 on the first 3 teams. We're going to assume that you got 10 on your gold team just to keep the example consistent. So you got 5 people on your pro team at 20%, 5 times 100 helium tokens is 500 at 20% is 100 helium tokens a month off of those 5 people. On that bronze team, you got 10 people at 100, 25% of that is 250. On the silver team, 30% of that 1,000 is 300. And again, just using the assumption of 10 to make this example just consistent, 35 people total, that would generate 350 helium tokens on a monthly basis. Now, again, let's just put this into perspective because this is so crazy. You are able to register as an ihub affiliate with ihub for no cost, totally free to register. The people that are getting these units that are being deployed to them for no cost. There's an assessment that we do. We send it out to the people that have the right scoring, but there's no cost involved. And so here, for reaching out to 35 people and exposing them to ihub, finding 35 people that have units that are going to be generating helium tokens, you are going to be getting an amazing 1,000 helium tokens per month just for the process of doing that where there was nothing out of pocket. Yes, the people that get the units, they're going to be responsible for $1 or less a month in electricity to keep it going, but it's essentially a free proposition. So that 1,000 helium tokens over a 12-month period would be 12,000 tokens. Now, helium right now is about $11. So we're talking about $11,000 of value on a monthly basis for just introducing this to 35 people. But guess what? You can introduce it to as many as you want. You're not stuck with 35 being the top line that's there. There's people that have been sharing this with hundreds of people, and you can imagine the numbers that happen as a result of that. And also that value of helium at $11, that is projected to significantly increase as we move forward. So these numbers can be way more than we're talking about. In addition to that, those 5% codes that we were talking about at the bronze, silver, and gold, they're able to also be paid to you, coded to you, to a significant portion of the people that are exposed to ihub as a result of those 35 people that you personally reached out to a significant portion of what evolves as a result of that. And the numbers get to be astronomical, truly the most extraordinary thing I've seen in 40 plus years. And I'm sure Chuck and everybody else who's really taken a deep dive to understand this are very enthusiastic to report. So also, of course, one of the things that we're very proud about is our involvement with Viva Kids 501c3 that Rick started a way back to help children. And we're going to be giving a contribution towards that as we move forward. I think we already are. So very, very exciting from that point of view. But with that, Chuck, I am going to turn it.
Hey, Michael, why don't you do me a favor? Go back 2 slides,
Okay.
and explain what a code is.
Okay. So let's just go back here.
Yeah, go back. Yeah, go back there.
Oh, no, we want to go to that one slide here.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So A code is something really amazing, and we can go into a little bit more of that. But a code is something that is permanently linked to to you as an individual. So let me just give you an example. Okay. Let's say that you share it with your number 6 person. So you built your pro team, the first 5 people. As soon as you bring in your 6th person, you begin building your pro team, and you're getting that 20%, 10 to 20% refer. But this bronze code is something that you're permanently getting on these 10 individuals, but you're also getting it on the pro team of those 10 individuals and their pro teams ad infinitum. You never get blocked on it. It's something that years down the road, somebody comes in that's derived from the pro team of those bronze individuals that you enrolled, and you're going to be getting 5% of what their miners produce. What's amazing about these pro teams is that they're only paid to one individual. It's not like we're having to split it with a whole bunch of people and get, fractions of those 5%. And the same is true at the silver level and the gold level. They're really comprised of different 5% codes that are there, but it's extremely powerful at the number of people. And the bronze team, you're getting paid on it on the pro team of your folks on your bronze team. On the silver, you're getting paid on the pro team, but you're also getting coded on the people in your silver team that also be developing their bronze team. And on the gold team, it goes as far as the pro team, bronze team, and silver team. So the numbers really are crazy. It requires a little bit more of a deep dive training on this to really grasp it. But trust me, we've never seen anything close to what's here with this program. So the more you look at it, the better it gets.
Yeah, and I know, and guys, I know that that's a mouthful as far as, trying to understand that. But let's say that you're qualified as bronze. You just brought in your 6th person. And now when that happens, you're qualified to receive that 5% differential. So your 6th person enrolls somebody, right? They enroll somebody, they get the 20%, you get the differential, right? You get that 5% differential, but there's also a 5% silver code bonus that's paid out and a 5% gold code bonus. Now, the silver and gold could be two separate individuals, or it could be one. It could be one person that is picking up both the silver and the gold, depending upon how everything is laid out and so on. But, like Michael said, this plan once, and you will get it. It'll be one of those aha moments. You'll go, aha, that's what they've been talking about. And if you continue watching these and, wrapping your head around it, I'm telling you, the first time that I saw it, it blew right over me. I got, kind of cross-eyed and I go, well, it must be working, because the guy that's telling me about it has got 2 jets and a helicopter. And and he's making $1 million a month, right? And love him to death. God rest his soul. But, when, he told me about it, it just didn't sink in, right? I mean, I was trying to absorb it, but it just didn't sink in. And actually, and then I let it go. Then I ran into another friend who brought it up, and he made it very perfectly clear to me on how powerful this plan is but it takes a certain kind of product. And we've got that certain kind of product because this product makes money every month with or without your involvement, with or without you having to pay anything, with or without you actually doing anything, right? So it's the perfect product. And when we saw this perfect product, this compensation plan was the perfect plan for us to put together. And you will get it. You just sit and watch some of these things And we're going to put it in a in a kind of a, we're going to take out the percentages and put it in some dollars, right? Using so you'll even get it more then. But if you start playing with the numbers and you go, well, let's see, if I get paid on the first 5, like Michael said, you got 10 bronze here, you get sponsored 10 people, personally, and they all bring in their first 5, right? Their first 5. Yes, 50 people. You start doing the math on that, guys. I mean, start taking a calculator, take your phone and look at the math on that and what that 5% amounts to, and then look at what it amounts to when you jump up to silver and when you jump up to gold. And when you get to gold and silver, these teams are still building. They're still building. They're not going away. They're, all of these people that you put in are trying to get to silver or trying to get to gold, and just continue to build, and you continue to get paid and paid and paid and paid and paid. And so like Michael says, no blocking, just an amazing plan. So
Hey,
so
Chad.
Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I just realized that in this version of the plan, we're not talking about the matching bonus, even though they mentioned a match, they didn't really show it. So just real quick, everybody, in addition to what we've talked about, we pay a matching bonus to these first 5 individuals that comprise your pro team. Now, what we're matching is we're matching the bronze, silver, and gold codes once they start achieving that, right? We're not matching their own pro team, just like you're getting paid on the pro team of the people you bring in bronze. When these folks start building their own bronze, silver, and gold team, they're going to be getting these coded bonuses, and you're getting a match on that. And that match starts at 10% while you're building your pro team. But as soon as you start building your bronze team, the 10% match on these 5 individuals goes to 15%. And when you start with your silver team, it goes to 20. And when you start building your gold team, it goes to 25. So you've got a 10 to 25% match on the coded bonuses that these 5 individuals create over time. And that can be very, very exciting. We talk about that more in depth on some of our training on the plan, but definitely it's an important thing to think about people that have a big sphere of influence. Maybe they're really good at social media, or they're seasoned in various different opportunities with a lot of people that they reach out to. Those are really good individuals to comprise those individuals on your pro team if you have that option. So back to you, Chuck.
Yeah. So Michael, let's look at some of these questions that are here. And guys, we're not going to go through the basic questions. And there's a lot of very simple questions. I know they're maybe not simple to you. That's why you're asking us. The income calculator in the back office has been removed. Right now, we're working on another one that'll even give you more information. Michael, you want to explain that, the compensation plan, like Michael said, we will be running 2 plans simultaneously based on that specific hotspot, right? That specific hotspot is either a paid or a free unit. So different numbers, right? So everything on the paid units are exactly the same as they've always been. Nothing changes, and you just saw the newest version of the affiliate plan. So that's the transition that we're making over to this new free deployment model. How soon will I receive my ihub? Uh, as soon as possible. We are working through all the CalChip orders right now. CalChip are the ones that you went in and paid 100% for. You paid $459 or whatever it was, and so on, 500 bucks for those. And we're working, we only have a couple of thousand more to go. And then we'll start working on the 6-packs. Michael, you want to explain very quickly to the people that are 6-pack owners on this Zoom that they have some options available to them?
I'd be happy to do that. So as we rolled out this new program, or we actually haven't physically rolled it out yet, but as we rolled out the idea of this new program, there was a lot of people that had ordered a 6-pack unit, which was paying basically for one of the 6 units and being able to pay the balance of the units prior to shipping, so that they weren't tying up their money and doing it. And we just wanted to give people an option of, if they are reevaluating whether they want those 6 units, then they have choices relative to this. No questions asked. We totally understand it. A lot of people are really pushing to say, hey, if you know somebody that doesn't want one of those 6-packs, I'll take it over. But that's not so easy to accomplish. But in any case, here are your choices. If you've got a 6-pack, you've already paid $500 for the first unit. So in your back office, when you go to provision your iHub, there'll be a button there that says update, and when you talk about provisioning, you click, that's like number 2 in your back office. When you on your sales and marketing back office, it's talking about provisioning. You click iHub provisioning. If you've got a 6-pack, that's where it'll be. You'll see it there. You click update, and you'll have a few options. One option is you can choose to say, you know what, I'm happy with the 1 unit. I'm just going to stay with that. Don't send me the payment link for the other 5 units, and we'll just leave it at 1. You can do that and convert it to 1 unit, no problem. Or you could say, you know what, I really just going to rely on the free deployment program. I don't need those 6 units anymore. And you can get a refund even on the 1 unit that you've already paid for. That's fine too. Again, we're totally happy with that. No questions asked. But if you want to keep those 6 units, then you will be given a link to pay for the balance of that before we're ready to ship. Within a week or 2 of us getting ready to ship those units out there, you'll be given the instructions on how you can complete that order so that you can receive those 6 units. Is that what you wanted me to share, Chuck?
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, go back and log into your back office, click on the links, find what Michael said. And I know John is working on an email that's going to go out to the field, or all the people, not go out to everybody in the field, but go out to everybody who has a 6-pack on order, to give them those options. And, option A is, hey, give me a refund for the whole thing. That the $500 that I paid, that's great, and then we'll cancel that out. Or, hey, I'll take the one that I've got and just ship that to me. And that's fine too. We can, you can go in there and provision that, put in your shipping address and the address that it should be provisioned to or installed at. And then, or, hey, I want all 6 of those puppies, right? So, that's great too. And you'll get a link to be able to pay for those. And, I hear Rick saying that link will be made available sometime mid-August, is what he's saying. So,
So one of the questions here, Chuck, from Tyra,
yeah.
he's saying, so on the iHub 1.0 and the iHub 2.0, is it a separate plan where you got to build your 4 teams individually for both of those plans? The answer to that is no. You're building one group of 4 teams. It doesn't matter whether they're people that are part of 1.0 or 2.0 that comprise those 4 teams. The collective is going to generate your first 5 up through, how many people you have past gold. The difference on the comp plan, which is really the referral bonus, is just relative to the unit. It'll be unit specific, a free deployed unit versus a unit that was purchased by an individual. That's the only thing that's going to make that determination. The coding is basically the same on all of them. Okay.
Any other questions there, Michael?
Well, I haven't had a chance to go through many of them. Let's see. Okay, it's kind of hard to read these questions and answer them at the same time.
Yeah.
But so will the hosts from the comp plan 1 start to count towards your goal towards 26 only after they acquire a unit? Now, there's two ways they can do that. One is they can buy your unit. If you've got your unit with somebody that's hosting your unit, for them to become an active affiliate, they need to have a unit. So either you sell them one of yours, or they can be replaced with a free deployment unit. A lot of people are doing that, where they're putting their unit in a hosted location, getting things going over time, and then be able to submit that address for being part of the deployed unit. And once they get a deployed unit, they will go active. But in the original program, the concept was converting your hosts to fully owned affiliates in the process of using the host plan as just a way of introducing them to what this is really all about, a great way to open the door, that sort of thing. So Chuck, do you see anything else?
Let's see, again, 6-packs, we're working on that. You're going to start getting we'll start getting some inventory and getting those out. So that'll start coming here in August. So let's see.
Someone's asking for the cost of the pro version of Helium Track. That's $299 a year, $299 a year for that, for unlimited assessments to be able to be sent out. And everybody gets the light version of it automatically. In fact, they already have that. Just going to heliumtrack.app and then logging in with their ihub credentials.
Let's talk about, there's a few questions on, what happens if somebody in your pro team becomes inactive. Let me say this about that. There's just no reason to quit, right? I mean, there's no, once you're a free affiliate, you're a free affiliate. Once you have a miner plugged in and it's generating helium, I haven't seen anybody yet pull the plug on that thing and throw it out the window and say, I'm sending this free one back, oh, I'm sending this unit back. It's not going to happen. So it's unlike, again, anything that we've ever experienced. So attrition is not going to be one of those things that we're going to have to really address. And again, somebody can come in for free, and somebody 10, I don't want to call them levels, but you get the idea. A person who refers a person who refers a person who refers a person, right? They put in a miner, and then everybody up from that person is active. Now that is an active position in that pro team. So no, none of the bronze team moves over if somebody falls away. Once you clear that hurdle of becoming a bronze, it doesn't really matter what happens with the pro team. You're on the bronze team and you're building your bronze team and so on and so forth.
So Chuck, let me just throw an idea out there.
Yeah.
You can get into a lot of evaluation and analysis and say, okay, well, I want to have this person and that person on my pro team and this person and that person on this team or that team. But here's the reality. We never really know where the magic is going to happen. You'll have somebody that you think is going to generate, enough activity to be able to pay for your grandkids' college 20 years from now. And that may or may not happen. But what we typically end up seeing is somebody that comes completely out of the blue. You don't really know who they are. You don't know what's in their heart. And they turn out to be a superstar. So my recommendation is just go out there, share this with people, let the chips fall where they may, and get out there and build your team, get that gold team going as quickly as possible, because that's really the goal line. But that's just the beginning of it, because you're going to have an unlimited number of people in gold. So don't get too caught up in overthinking this. Just go out there and bring the people in.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right, Michael. I mean, how many times have both of us just said, "Oh, this is the person. This is the person. This is the person," and that person wound up to be, you know, a good talker, but no action, right? So you just never know. I've got a person that I met in iHub, and his team is now. Um, 13,000 people. Can you imagine that? And 13,000 people. And it's just, people tell a few people who tell a few people who tell a few people and tell a few people. And I mean, I remember when Michael and I worked together, they said, oh, that Chuck guy, he probably won't do shit. And
I never said that
oh, that must have been somebody else.
though.
So, uh, hey guys, we could go on answering questions forever. It's a never-ending process, the whole educational process. I mean, I've been working on it for 33 years. Michael's been working on it for 60, and he's a lot older than I am. But it all comes. I mean, I want you to just think about this for a second. Remember the first car that you drove, right? It was a scary thing. And I know it was a scary thing for me. I don't know if anybody else actually knows what a clutch is, right? But I started driving a car with a clutch, a brake, and a gas pedal. Now, if you aren't as old as Michael, Michael's first, two round-wheeled vehicle was a Chariot, but mine mine had a clutch, a brake, and a gas pedal. And you had to put in the clutch, right? And then put your foot on the brake to hold it. And then take your foot off the brake, let out the clutch and push out the gas. And I lived in kind of a hilly area, and I always dreaded the day that I would get stopped, on a hill, and not knowing what in the world to do then, because as soon as I let out the clutch and took my foot off the brake, that thing was going to start rolling backwards. And after a little while, I didn't even think about that anymore. It was one of those things that I didn't think about, and pretty soon, I had to shift the car, but somehow I was able to have my window out the car window, the left, and have my other arm around a girl and still shift it. I don't know how that happened, but but it all happens. So don't get frustrated with the learning process, and we're going to try to make it as simple as possible for everybody to get through all of these things. And if you just keep coming to the trainings, and you'll learn a little bit, and you'll learn something that we said maybe 4 or 5 trainings ago will finally click, in a training 2 or 3 trainings from now. And that's just how it happened. In the old days, I mean, I spent tens of thousands of dollars flying to cities to get trained by some of the best trainers in the world. And I went home, and I got my first check from my first company. And by then it was checks, and they mailed them once a month. And I always remember my wife opened it up, and she looked at the check, and she burst out laughing. And I said, "What are you laughing about?" She said, "You earned $43. Aren't you proud of yourself?" I had spent about 10 grand, flying around, staying in hotels. And it was a uphill battle from that point on. Trust me. So a lot easier doing what we're doing right here than flying all over the place and doing what we used to do. So, Michael, I couldn't do it without you. John, the same thing. Eric, glad you joined the team, and it's going to be a lot of fun getting to know you and all of your guys. And Helium Track is going to set us apart from everybody. So somebody asked me, about using up the credits when I had made that comment of choose wisely. Hey, if you got an address and it falls right in the middle of 100 other hotspots right around it, it's very quickly to see that that's probably not going to be the best address, right? And so you also, on the flip side of that, if you have an address and it's out in the middle of a cornfield and there's not another hotspot within 100 miles, probably no reason to run the intelligence or send a mining assessment on that address, right? So that's what I meant by choose wisely. If you have some and you plug it in and it's got some around it, not too close, right? Some here and some there. And then you go, okay, let's just see what that says. And it says, okay, you got 4 in your sweet spot. All right, I like that. That's a good address. So now that's what I'm talking about is that, so you got that red zone, that 300 meters, and then you got your sweet spot, those green zones that are up from that. And so you'll be able to eyeball it and know whether or not you need to run the intelligence on that. And once you get the pro version, it won't make any difference. And I would encourage you to do that as quickly as possible, because that's a tool that you're going to want to have in your toolbox and utilize it all the time. And the customization and everything that's being done is incredible. So with that, guys, it's been a pleasure hanging out with everybody. Let's see, what's on the schedule, Michael?
Well, Monday
Monday.
coming up, presentation.
Okay, that means enjoy your Friday, enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you Monday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here. Let's have a packed house. Let's have 1,000 people on here. But you know what everybody's mission is right now? Build your team, build your team, build your team. The dam is going to burst, meaning that we will have lots and lots and lots of hotspots here relatively soon. And you want to have as many people on your team as possible when that happens. So don't miss the opportunity to start showing this to everybody you know. And again, it just goes back to that very simple question that I was asked by Michael, 10 months ago. Hey, how would you like to own a little piece of the world's largest and first peer-to-peer wireless network? I said, yeah, I think I would like to own a piece of that. So, and that's how everything started. And again, it's just asking, just dropping that question on people to get a little reaction, right? Just to kind of test the water. If they go, nah, that doesn't sound like it's for me. Okay, great. Yeah, next, right? So, hey guys, I appreciate everybody spending an hour with us. We'll get this recording off and uploaded. And if you want to get our stuff, right? Our stuff is all on Vimeo. So VIEMO.com/, what is that? It's yeah, /ihub.global/videos. And you can go and look at everything that's there. So with that, God bless everybody. Thanks for being with us. And Michael, we'll see you later, buddy.
Thanks, Chuck. Bye, everyone.
Okay. Good night, everybody.